if you're identifying with a power structure that can never see my full humanity, because I can never be white, that should be a problem for you.
I don't need you to be white. Who needs you to be white?
Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me in Karen Hunter is Awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power, a 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.
Now, I'm not sure if some of you all are on dope or dog food or both. It doesn't really matter to me. But if you came to me for business advice and I suggested to you a man that has filed bankruptcy 6 times, would you trust him with your business? Quickly. Would you give him your money? Would you trust me for suggesting him? Absolutely not. If you came to me saying, Rashonda, I need a scientist. I need somebody that has degrees behind their name that can give me lab-tested results. And I brought to you a man that's been microdosing heroin since the 60s. Would you trust him? Would you listen to him? Would you trust me for bringing him to you? If you said, Rashonda, I need you to hold my secrets, and I said, I know a guy, but every now and then he leaks war plans in a signal chat, would you trust him with your secrets? Do you see? What if I said to you, there's a man with a master plan, and he's pulling this plan from the late 30s to mid 40s, but the plan ends with a man unaliving himself along with millions of people dying. Would you follow that plan? This is how you all sound, and this is how y'all look, a fool and a mess. I'm sick and I'm tired.
Me too, Rashonda. Lace. Welcome back. Hottest show in the galaxy is the Karen Hunter Show. We are here Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. on SiriusXM Urban View, where talk empowers and becomes action. I asked a question before the break about whiteness and people who identify with being white. Today, what does that mean to you, and why are you so tied to it? Let me go to the phone. Somebody did call. I hope he's not a troll. I hope he's earnestly accepting the challenge. Josh in South Carolina. Welcome to the Karen Hunter Show.
Hey, Rashonda.
No, my name's Karen.
Oh, you're Karen. Okay, I'm sorry. I just tuned in.
Wait, hold on. So did somebody tell you to call? Like you don't listen to the show? Somebody's like, Josh, this is for you, sir. Call this show and set this woman straight. Is that what happened?
No, I tune in every now and then. I just don't tune in regularly.
So you didn't know it was the Karen Hunter Show?
Well, I did think it was Karen Hunter. Then right after the break, somebody came on by the name of Rashonda.
Okay, yeah. That was a clip that we played of somebody named Rashonda.
Okay,
so go ahead. You were listening, and what happened?
You were talking about whiteness and wanting to know what whiteness means to white people these days?
Yeah, no, the real question is, why do you associate with something that historically was invented with the sole purpose of denigrating a group of people for commerce?
Well, I don't know that I'd agree with that premise. I would say
I'm telling you, historically, before 1500 something, there was no such thing as white. So it was an invention. And it's something you should know since you identify with it.
Well, I guess it's just a descriptor that's commonly used these days to describe somebody of, I guess, Caucasian descent who has whitish skin.
Are your people from the Caucasus, the Caucasus Mountains?
Italy and Ireland.
Italy and Ireland. So you're like the least white person, Josh. You're not even from the Caucasus Mountains. So for you, when you heard me say this, you took offense? I just want to know, like, your frame of mind right now.
Yeah, because I don't think it's a fair representation of white people in America. And I think the term groups people in because, just about everybody understands what the term white means, and it's not how you're describing it.
So wait, because intent is everything. So why do you think I'm having this conversation today?
I'm not sure.
Okay, so
I didn't listen long enough to know that.
Why not be more curious instead of coming in being offended? Ask me, why am I having this conversation, right? I think the problem in this country, the problem in this world, is that people have opinions, first of all, not rooted in facts. So the fact that you don't know that whiteness is an invention, it's not a marker that the folk from Italy ever.
Well, if that's true, I think it's kind of lost that meaning that you're ascribing to it. I don't think it's, back then maybe it meant that. I'm not really sure, but I think how being white is understood these days is just the color of your skin. It's like a skin color.
So that's all it is the color of your skin. So you're actually alabaster. You're actually white, paper white. You're the color white.
Right. And black people aren't actually black. It's more like a brown.
Right. So you just in your own description undermine the very definition, because you probably aren't white and I'm definitely not black, color wise.
Okay. Well, then I don't really care about the color of someone's skin so much.
But you do.
But I wouldn't.
Or you wouldn't have called. You wouldn't have felt hit. You wouldn't have felt something. So you felt something. You picked up the phone to call to say what?
Well, because everybody understands the term white these days, and then you attribute all these negative factors to whiteness, and it kind of ignores all the positive contributions that white people have made to the society.
What are they?
Including the freeing of slaves. Ending
white
slavery.
People did that? Come on, Josh. What school did you go to? That's what they taught you?
I mean, are you familiar with Abraham Lincoln? Are you familiar with all the people that fought in the Civil War to end slavery?
Oh my God. So if I were to tell
that's
you,
what I think there's a lot of positive.
So hold on, because I do want to be super sarcastic, but I don't, because I feel like you really do believe that. And if I were to tell you that the things you were taught about the liberation of the enslaved.
I know so many things we've been taught. I know.
Yeah. So if I were to tell you it was misinformation, that it was wrong facts, that in many ways the end, that Civil War was ended when enslaved people walked off of plantations and picked up guns, and they opened the army to those enslaved black people to fight for their own liberation. Would that change a little bit? Because Lincoln,
the army to them.
Yeah. Yes.
Who opened the army to them?
Lincoln did, because he was losing.
And Lincoln was white, right?
Well, there's some question about that. There's some question about him and Babe Ruth and a whole lot of other people, because white is a construct. So, it waxes and wanes. For a number of years, your people from Italy were right there, lumped them with the N-words. No N-words, no Italians. They had all kind of horrible names for Italians without papers, and guineas and all kind of horrible words that they had for Italians, because you were considered just right alongside black folk.
Sure.
And so how did you become white?
If you saw me, you'd understand.
Okay. I think you're missing my point. And I don't want to be frustrated, but what I need you to understand, Josh, since you do listen to the show, it seems like you're a good guy. Like you seem to want to be in conversation with us. That as long as you identify with a power dynamic, with a power construct that by its very nature will always put me in a second class, you're going to be part of the problem, as far as I'm concerned. If you're identifying with a power structure that can never see my full humanity, because I can never be white, that should be a problem for you.
I don't need you to be white. Who needs you to be white?
I think you're not understanding my point. So we can't. I don't know how we have a conversation when we're having two different conversations.
But I would like to understand. I'm open-minded.
Okay.
I'm listening.
Okay. So here's what I'm saying. In the beginning, there was this big continent. It's called Africa, right? And it had all of these people. Is the beginning of. Can we agree that that's where civilization started, right? Can we agree to that?
I don't think anybody knows where civilization started.
Oh my God. Okay, so we can't agree. Can we say that people started in Africa?
If you want, I mean, if you
no,
want, you
no,
can
it's not.
say
If
that.
I
I'm not
want,
gonna,
this is the problem.
I don't have a different answer.
No. The scientists have found the very first human on this landmass that we now call Africa. They call her Mitochondria Eve, the mother of people in Africa, which by that says that we all of us, you, me, your mama, everybody, we all come from that one person who was found to have been birthed, or however she came to be, in Africa.
Okay.
Are you just saying okay, or do you? Because if we can't agree on facts, then how do we have a conversation?
I'm not going to disagree with that. I don't have a better fact for you.
Okay.
I don't have an argument I can make.
Okay. Here's what because I feel, Josh, and this may insult you at your core, but I don't think you know enough to have the kind of conversation that would enlighten you to the point where you would have a revelation about what I'm talking about. And that puts
We're talking about America today, I thought.
No, we are. Well, but can we talk about America today and not talk about America yesterday? Because we got here. We didn't just come here. We got here from a set of laws and rules and thoughts and ideals that were fomented in the 1700s and then carried forth into law, codified into the Constitution, right? And then carried forth.
But slavery existed long before that. It's not like we were the first country to have slavery or something like that. We were the first. We
were the first to racialize slavery, to make slavery a category based on one's skin color, and then we backed it up with pseudo fake science, like the dead worm head person today with the autism. We backed it up with fake scientists that then created anthropology and things like that to determine that these people are inferior and therefore that's why we can enslave them, because they're not like us. They're not really fully human. We can have human zoos with Africans in them. We can experiment with their bodies because they don't feel pain, because they're savages. And when this literally, and here's just one thing I want you to, maybe you'll go down a rabbit hole. I don't know, but I'd love for you to read The Half Has Never Been Told so that you can kind of get an understanding of slavery. But there was a guy named Mansa Musa, and this is really how the whole transatlantic slave trade started. He's a man from a country called Mali, right? It's Mali. And he was going to Mecca because he was a Muslim, and he was traveling across the continent, the upper north part of Africa, on his way to Hajj, and was giving out gold along the way. He gave out so much gold, Mansa Musa, who was a king, that it destabilized the entire world's gold. It destabilized all of the gold. And the Portuguese, who were right there, if you have a map, were like, oh, we were going around this landmass to get to China to do trade and stuff, and India. Wait a minute, they got gold? And that's when it all, and then look at those bodies. Oh my God, what can we do with those bodies? And that's how we got here. All right, we got to go to a break. I hate that we don't know enough to have really good conversations, Josh, but I'm going to encourage you to read more and then come back. I get why you're a little offended, but don't be offended. Sit in what I'm saying today and know that you're not really white.
Experience Karen Hunter in a completely different way. Karen Hunter is awesome. The podcast.
If you like me on SiriusXM Urban View Channel 126, you're going to love me in Karen Hunter is Awesome. Hey, this is Karen Hunter, host of The Karen Hunter Show on SiriusXM's Urban View. Karen Hunter is Awesome is an actual podcast to bring heat and energy and knowledge and power, a 1-2 punch that I don't think you get anyplace else. Tell the truth. So check out the podcast wherever you get your podcast. You will not be disappointed.